She looks at him, searching his face, searching for something, hope, reassurance, anything that will make this nightmare disappear. But she has seen this before. She has felt this before. And in the end, it was always his father's will that prevailed. Wife, tears brimming in her eyes, voice shaking, Hamdan, your father gets everything he wants. He will never accept me, and you know that. He will do whatever it takes to separate us, Hamdan firmly, gripping her shoulders, his voice breaking, let him try. I will not leave you. I will fight for you. Her lips tremble, her heart aching at his words. She wants to believe him. But the fear is too strong. Wife shaking her head, her voice breaking. And if he forces you? If he strips you of everything? What then? Hamdan swallows hard, staring into her tear-filled eyes. He has never felt this helpless before. His entire life, he had been a prince, powerful and respected. But for the first time, he realizes that none of it means anything if he cannot protect the one person who truly matters to him. Hamdan whispering, filled with desperation, then I will leave it all behind. She gasped softly, eyes widening, wife barely believing his words, you would. Leave your family. Your kingdom, Hamdan without hesitation, his voice strong and unwavering, I would leave everything if it meant keeping you by my side. Tears slipped down her cheeks. Her heart aching. She wants to throw herself into his arms, to believe that love is enough. But the fear still lingers, wife softly, hesitating, and what if he doesn't give you a choice? Hamdan clenches his jaw, his fists tightening at his sides. His father had backed him into a corner, but he will find a way out. He refuses to accept that this is their fate, Hamdan eyes burning with determination, then I will find a way to stop him before that happens. She stares at him, her heart pounding. She sees the fire in his eyes, the unshakable love he has for her. And for the first time since this nightmare began, she allows herself to hope. That evening, as Hamdan prepares to meet his father again, a knock sounds at his door. He opens it to find his younger brother standing there, looking uneasy, brother lowering his voice, glancing around nervously, Hamdan, you need to be careful. Father is serious about this wedding. And if you don't obey, he is willing to take drastic measures. Hamdan frowns, his body tensing, Hamdan sharply, what do you mean? His brother hesitates, then leans in closer, brother whispering, his tone grave, he has already spoken to the council. If you refuse this marriage, he is prepared to strip you of your title and exile you from the kingdom. Hamdan's breath catches in his throat. His father would go that far? He swallows hard, his mind racing. If this is true, then the time he thought he had is slipping away faster than he imagined. His brother watches him carefully before speaking again, softer this time. Brother, you need to decide, Hamdan. Before he decides for you, Hamdan doesn't answer. His hands tighten into fists, his mind already formulating a plan. He won't let his father win. He won't lose the woman he loves. But now, more than ever, he knows one thing for certain, time is running out. Hamdan stands on the palace balcony that night, staring out into the dark horizon. His mind is a battlefield of emotions, anger, love, desperation. His father had drawn the line, obey or be cast out. A prince no more. A son no more. He should be afraid. He should be shaken. But all he can think about is her. His wife. The woman who had already suffered enough because of him. He grips the railing tightly, his breath uneven. He has to act. He cannot sit and wait for his father to destroy their lives. Just then, the door to his chamber opens. His wife steps inside, her face pale, her eyes filled with exhaustion. She has barely spoken since their last conversation, lost in the weight of everything. Hamdan turns at the sound of her presence, his heart twisting. At the sight of her, he has failed her once. He refuses to fail her again. Hamdan gently, stepping toward her, you haven't eaten anything all day. Wife crossing her arms, her voice quiet but firm, neither have you. Hamdan exhales, running a hand through his hair. Silence settles between them, heavy with unspoken words. Then, finally, she speaks again, her voice soft but laced with fear. Wife looking away, barely above a whisper. What are we going to do, Hamdan? He steps closer, taking her hands in his. He can feel how cold they are, how much she has been drowning in fear. He lifts them to his lips, pressing a soft kiss to her fingers, Hamdan whispering, his voice full of quiet strength. We leave. Her eyes widen as she looks up at him, searching his face for any sign of hesitation. There is none. Only certainty. Wife stunned, her voice barely above a whisper. What? Hamdan firmly, determination burning in his eyes. If he is going to exile me, I won't wait for it to happen. I will leave first, on my own terms. And I will take you with me. Her breath catches in her throat. The idea of leaving the palace, the life they knew, feels impossible. But at the same time, for the first time in days, she feels something she thought was lost. Hope. Wife still uncertain, her voice shaking. But where will we go? What about everything you've built here? Hamdan shaking his head, tightening his grip on her hands. None of it matters without you. I was a prince long before I met you, and I thought that was enough. But now I know. The only thing I can't live without is you. Her lips tremble, tears pooling in her eyes. She wants to believe him, wants to trust that this is the right choice. But the fear lingers, wife hesitant, whispering, and if your father comes after us? Hamdan's jaw clenches, his eyes darkening. Hamdan coldly, with finality, then he will learn that I am no longer the boy who obeys him. I am the man who chooses his own fate. Silence. The weight of his words settles between them. Then, after a long pause, she exhales shakily and nods, wife softly, finally choosing him. Then let's go. For the first time in days, Hamdan feels like he can breathe. He pulls her into his arms, holding her as if letting go would break him. This is it. Their choice has been made. The only thing left now is to escape before it's too late. The next morning, Hamdan meets his younger brother in secret, away from prying eyes. His brother looks tense, shifting uneasily, brother whispering, glancing around nervously. Are you sure about this, Hamdan? Leaving the palace? Leaving everything behind? Hamdan nodding, his voice steady. It's the only way. Father won't stop until he gets what he wants. And I refuse to let him destroy my marriage. Brother sighing, rubbing his forehead. If he finds out, he will hunt you down. You know that, right? Hamdan coldly, his jaw tightening. Let him try. His brother studies him for a long moment, then finally sighs. Brother softly, reluctantly, then I'll help you. Hamdan's eyes widen slightly in surprise. Hamdan carefully, studying him. You would risk everything for me? Brother nods, with quiet loyalty. You are my brother. And for the first time, I see you fighting for something you want. Not what father wants. Not what the kingdom expects. Just you. If you are willing to give up everything for her, then you deserve to have her. Hamdan's heart clenches with gratitude, but there is no time for emotions. He nods, his voice steady. Hamdan, then we don't have much time. We leave before the wedding. His brother nods, determination settling in his gaze. Brother, then let's make sure you disappear before father can stop you. And with that, the plan begins. The clock is ticking. The wedding is near. And if they fail, there will be no escape.